Hey guys, Derby here, and welcome to part 2 of this week's weekly dev post video. Next up is the difference in Battlecraft Leaves and Fates, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have forgotten what the hell Battlecraft Leaves are because everybody just goes and does fate grinding. Just in case you've forgotten, there is something known as a Battlecraft Leave in this game, where you go up to the leave and you have to go and start killing monsters on your job or your class, and you get XP rewarded for it. But unfortunately, you get literally fuck all experience when you're doing these Battlecraft Leaves, and it is so much more worth your time doing Fates, especially with the armory bonus that we get from Fates. So in this post, the community rep has said, we understand that players are not utilizing Battlecraft Leaves as often as the number of experience points that a player can gain via Fate is high. As such, we are currently looking into improving the experience points for Battlecraft and Grand Company Leaves by adding an army bonus. This means that our beautiful army bonus that we currently have for all of our jobs and other classes that we're getting to 50 is also going to be added to our Battlecraft Leaves. This is a good thing because, well, you can make a lot of money doing leaves, that's for sure, and currently the only reason to do leaves is to get a bit of extra pocket change. So I think this is a really good update. I think this is an update that was really needed, and hopefully it would balance out the issue between fate grinding and using your leaves. This post is regarding that people like to grief and troll on the Duty Finder matchmaking service, and it is constantly withdraw from the dungeon that they queued up for, especially for a dungeon like AK, where you can be spending about 40 minutes queuing up. So the post is as follows. The development team is aware of the fact that there are some players who will constantly withdraw when you are being matched with players via the Duty Finder. They plan on implementing countermeasures for this to decrease the frequency in which this happens. As there are other wrapped up. Whoa, this is really bad wording from this dev. Okay, so they will not be able to address this right away as they, I believe it should be, are wrapped up with other high priority tasks. God, this sentence is really fucked up. They really need to organize it. On another note regarding this, we do not plan on giving penalties to these players who withdraw when you are getting ready to commence, due to the fact that there is a possibility that players who do not have malicious intent could be penalised. We apologise for the inconvenience and appreciate your understanding. So at least taking a step forward and trying to address this issue. I don't think that they will implement a fix for patch 2.1. I think it will come in between patch 2.1 and patch 2.2, so patch 1.5 maybe, because of course if they're going to implement a countermeasure against this, there are people who legitimately do use the withdraw function and they may get penalized. So they have to make sure that this is balanced. They have to make sure that whatever they implement to countermeasure these griefers and these trolls is balanced and won't affect normal players like myself or you. The next post is regarding the population cap. In patch 2.1 they're going to add a population cap per zone, and if that area is currently full or it is at its limit, you will not be able to join that zone until someone has left it, pretty much. This is a countermeasure to stop constant server crashes whenever a big fate like Odin or Behemoth has spawned, and there are constant world crashes because, you know, pretty much everybody in the world is running to that zone to try and kill Odin or Behemoth. And of course there's also going to be clipping because there are too much people in the area. So this zone pop cap that they're going to be doing is a good feature, I feel. The post is as follows. Sorry it took so long to get the info on this. We checked with the server lead who informed us that the implemented population cap is indeed a cap on the entire area, example Koa for Central Highlands, and that currently we have no plans on removing or reducing the restriction. Depending on different server stress conditions, we cannot say what is the maximum number of players before reaching the cap. We can say, however, that the number is typically fairly high, so there is little concern to worry about being unable to complete content found within these areas. Alright, on to the next post. This is regarding food, and I think this is a very good fix. So, we are currently working on adjustments for patch 2.1 to make it so food effects do not wear off when you are KO'd. We understand that there have been a lot of feedback asking for longer effect durations or higher stats when considering the materials needed for high level recipes, but we'd first like to monitor the situation with the planned adjustments. Now this is a very good feature. This means in patch 2.1, culinarians and possibly alchemists will be getting a lot of money for the stuff that they produce. Basically, currently it is pointless getting food or these high level 2-star foods, because once you die, for example on a boss fight like Twintania, if you die, good game, your 10k go, and no one wants to buy a piece of food that's only going to last you about 2 minutes, and then of course you're now on a global cooldown or something like that, or you have to now reuse it despite the fact it still has 30 minutes left on its timer. No one's going to be using food, especially when it costs 10k per food item, and on Twintania you wipe every 2 minutes because of twisters or whatever. So I feel like this update will make people, especially people who are progressing through the coil or progressing through primals, really have a bigger incentive to buy these endgame foods. And of course, because people will be looking forward to buy these 2-star foods because there's more value to them. Now, if I eat this food, it actually lasts me 30 minutes. More and more lower end guilds, more of the casual players, which are in fact the big majority of this game, will buy these foods. Because currently the only people that really buy the 2-star food is the endgame guild, because they have been able to master the bosses and they can use the 2-star food without having to run to the market boards constantly and having a big chunk of their money taken out every evening. The next part is about AOE placement on the PS3 controller, and you know what, I really do feel sorry for PS3 players. They have a really tough time pretty much playing this game unless you're going to be like a melee class, for example. Because you have AoEs and all these other stuff that you have to take care of, and it's really hard to do so on a gamepad. So they said, thank you for your suggestions. The development team definitely understands that there are times where it's difficult to use the gamepad to indicate ground targets such as Shadow Flare or Flaming Arrow, and they feel that the current ground target UI is not entirely complete. Along with your feedback, we are looking into an easier method to use these controls, but as there are other tasks that have to be prioritized with a high degree of urgency, this is something that will be addressed after patch 2.1. Once we have more information to share, we will be sure to let you know. So hopefully the experience for the PS3 player would gradually improve over time. I feel like these little minor updates for the PS3 should have come before patch 2.1, and I feel that it is coming a bit too late, but at least it's coming around now. Next up is regarding the Red Belly Hive Fate, and oh my god, if you were like me and you've been playing since phase 2, you would know that the Red Belly Hive Fate is extremely difficult. Especially if you're a low level player. There's just so many monsters that come, and the fact that the Red Belly Hive is such a high level for the zone. I believe one of the fates is level 32 despite it being a level 20 zone. It's ridiculous, and all the monsters and enemies that come are really powerful as well, and it's really hard to do with a small group. You're guaranteed to wipe if you're doing it with less than 10 people, that's for sure. This fate is really hard for low levels, and I don't know why it's like this. And the post is, I wanted to bump this thread because we understand that due to different phases of the Red Belly Hive Fate, it's difficult for players to even encounter clearing the hive and earn the the Bowberry Burning achievement. In patch 2.1, we will be making it so you can receive this achievement by getting the highest rating possible for either clearing the hive, defending the hive, or keeping the hive. Now, I think this is a very good thing because this fate is ridiculously hard for the level that it's at. But yeah, at least if you're an achievement hunter, you'll be able to get your achievement much easier. Next up is regarding pet hotbars and abilities. Yay for summoners! So as mentioned in this thread, which we will be opening up so we can take a look, in patch 2.1 we will be making a few adjustments to the pet hotbars and abilities, starting with being able to hide the pet hotbar for mouse and keyboard users and addressing the use of pet actions for macros. Oh my god, macros with pets. This took too fucking long, if I'm honest with you. Quite a few summoners and scholars that I've been talking to, they are kind of pissed off that they can't use macros with their pets, and finally in patch 2.1 they're able to use their macros for their pets. Very good update, very good. Summoners and scholars, you will be happy. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for part 3 where I will be discussing some more UI elements and other dev posts that have been posted on the forums.